Let's see if I'm on now. Okay, something happened and I just got turned off. Okay. Yeah, sorry. And I really want to answer your questions. So let's go to the first live stream. So now I'm going to have two live streams for tonight, but it's all right. It's all in God's hands. So this is part two for day 2,208 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room. And I don't even think I said the number on my last one, so maybe that's why this needed to be done. But I really wanted to read the comments because I think that this whole John Ossoff, because they're so sly, these slimy people, they're so sly. And we need to, get to the bottom of who they really are. Um, make sure I get all the comments. So, City Council is doing the meeting for the West Star Bank, I think, or the West Bank about their tax incentives of the city or something like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, they're all about how they can exploit and extort. And they use bonds, and we know that um, with our investigation and how they exploited the Walmart mass shooting with the open checkbook, right? They always want an open checkbook. Media is fake news. Oh, yeah, it's so fake. And I think that El Paso Matters is totally outed for their fake news, right? Which is we're very grateful for that because, um, of course, they put out such a fake narrative about our son. And of course, with SPLC, they put out a fake, you know, I'm the expert on hate crime. It's like Fauci saying he's an expert on the flu or something. I mean, he was an expert of anything. He was just exploit. Look at gosh, think about what he did. I mean, and that's what this SPLC lady, Heidi Bayrish, what she did. I mean, and giving like $700,000 to John Ossoff. And his name is Thomas, y'all. By the way, his name is Thomas. Like if you want to look him up, it's Thomas John Ossoff. And, so it's just, what is this with John? And I think it's Jonathan too. Um, this Beto instead of Robert. Man, I don't want to split hairs. Who cares about that? But still, they're just all always so deceptive. Um, oh yeah, Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, I think that's what President Trump calls him, rightfully so. And the comments that I've gotten about him are I can't even repeat them. He's not very popular. He's not what he did to the veterans, what he did to his Jewish community, his followers. When you're a senator, you need to be the senator of the entire state. Your constituents are the people that live in your state. You can't pick and choose who you're going to represent and leave off, who you don't, see eye to eye ideological, logically with, right? Um, once you become the senator, uh, you need to represent your entire state. And he just throws so many people under the bus. And now, for cancer survivors, he's throwing them under the bus with what he did. How they're so rude. I can't tell you how rude people have been, and how rude they treated Richard as a whistleblower, with infiltration of cartel. I mean, total national security breaches, fuel theft, children that were being sexually exploited. And they work for like the devil. They work for the devil, and they target those that um, have respect for life and liberty and people, um, be it women, be it men, be it children, and also for animals, because these people, these cartel people with the Mormon mafia, they treat animals terribly. So they treat women terribly, men terribly, children terribly, the family terribly, and animals terribly. They have no respect for um, privacy. They have they just want access to everything so that they can exploit it and steal it and manipulate it and traffic it, and then they go, "Oh, look how rich we are." No, no, you're very poor. You're very, very poor because God seats, God takes away. It's, and I should read it. Um, the Magnificant. Those that have everything will be left with nothing. And we totally understand what God's saying when we look at this case and we look at what's going on at the border. But those that seem poor will have everything. And that's what's happening. We're headed into the golden age. You know why I know that? Because all of the receipts that we've gotten, it's revealing who these people are. And for so long, they were in the shadows. And as long as they're in the shadows, they're winning. But they're not in the shadows anymore. They're all, very easy to find out who John Ossoff is. You just look it up, and all of a sudden you see that SPLC was the one funding him. George Soros, the one funding him. The dark money funding him, right? This same network as Beto O'Rourke funding him. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, now I know who he is. And Beto O'Rourke, don't ever forget that he hired La Diabla's family. La Diabla, Martha Mendez Aguilar, the CJNG cartel operative leader that was targeting pregnant women to take their babies, to take their organs, to sell them on the black market web. And working with that family was Brooke Underwood. You don't have to wonder who these people are anymore. It's very clear. That Salvador Purchase is absolutely disgusting, and all of his evil deeds is Salvador Purchase Jr., his connections with the Arellano Caron family, and the flesh peddling that he was doing, that is all out in the open. And the more that you share, the more that comes from out of the shadows into the open, and gets investigated. And um, it's, then real accountability comes, because the real accountability comes from God, of course, and we are in communion with God. So it's the government of the people, by the people, for the people. And that's why the sharing is so important. Um, and they're always trying to control, with shadow banning or whatever, how many people see, this news and how many people have to watch the foolery. We'll push the foolery out there and the real news will put in shadow ban it, right? So the more you talk about it, the more you share it, the better it is, the further reach it goes, and they can't. It's too big to rig. It's too big to rig. Just like the Mayella Crucius family connection is too big to rig. The Nadal Baim with Bradford Bugado, Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado, is just too big to rig, because he has connections in the DA office, just like the Mayellas in the DA's office, but also the AUSA office. So that's the federal prosecutor's office there in El Paso. He has connections with. So they were infiltrated everywhere. And of course, we know with Petkus and uh, well, Wettins and all that, the whole Golden Triangle Mormon Mafia infiltration um, that was going on at the border that was allowed to grow and grow and grow because they were in the shadows, you see, and the media was covering up, giving us a false narrative, and we were trusting the media. And now we don't trust the media because we know it's fake news. So at least we don't trust the media. So yeah, there's a lot of good news because we are forced to see them now. And we don't like we don't like what we see. Not $75,000 that Samaniago pays out to John Briggs that the county says, "No, we're not liable for that." He got fired because he's up to no good. Why do you want to restore his reputation? Because without a reputation, he can't do his he can't sell his deception. So Samaniago wants him to be able to deceive again. This John Briggs. So yeah, so please share the information about John Briggs and that it was beyond his case, his lawsuit was, and you can go and check it out too, beyond the statute of limitations, and he did not deserve to get that taxpayer money, but Ricardo Samaniago, um, I guess he has some kind of alliance. Who is he working for then, right? We know he's up to no good. It's the same people, right? That he wants to restore Briggs's reputation so that they can go on and work together again, um, with all their manipulation and um, crime. Crime. Richard Samaniago is a criminal, and so is John Briggs, and so is Justin Underwood and Danae Katzen that they worked with. And they are absolutely responsible for this cover up of the Walmart mass shooting connections. And of course, our sons, the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier, Richard Halliday, who was murdered for whistleblowing against this very group. So thank you so much. God bless you. And